Hi, this is Yuri from Visual Components. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use interactive virtual reality with Visual Components Premium. Let's have a quick look at the simulation world. Here in the middle, I have a device controller, which is a necessary component for interactive VR. There are lots of different properties that you can use to customize your controller. One of the most useful properties is hide during simulation, which you can toggle on or off to hide or show the controller during the simulation. This view also has tabs for signal actions, joggables, pickables and default buttons. I tell you more about the joggables and pickables a bit later. For now, let's press the disable pause button. This prevents the simulation from pausing when you press the grip button from your actual handheld controller. Before I jump inside the simulation, here's the button mapping for HTC controller. The button mapping is also similar for other controller brands. I hope that you have already watched William's video about streaming simulation to VR, as that shows you how to set up the connection between VC Premium and Experience. You can jog the robot tools and individual joints by holding down the grip button, which is located at the handle of your controller. Depending on how you set up the system, you can walk around the simulation, or then you can use the trigger button at the back of the controller to teleport to the green indicator. Notice that when you want to move the robot tool, you need to align it with the frame icon. I will soon show you how you can configure your components to be interactive in the VR world. There is also a customizable human-machine interface, or HMI. You can connect the buttons on the HMI to different components to control them. Let's try picking up a box with the SCARA robot. Like that. Now move it to the table. Excellent. Let's move this out of the way. Now pile on. That's enough of fun. Now I will show you how you can set up your simulation to be ready for interactive virtual reality. Here I have a can and a bottle of lemonade. I can pick up and drink from the can without problems. The lemonade bottle does not want to be picked up. That's because it has not been set as a pickable object. I'll show you how to do that now. The can has a property called VR Pickable that is enabled. This enables the can to be picked up with the device controller. The can also has a physics entity with a physics type set to InPhysics. The bottle does not have pickable property or physics entity. I could add this manually, but there's an easier way. Let's look for the device controller from the cell graph. I can go to the Pickables tab and select the target component, so the PET bottle. Now when I press the set target as pickable, the necessary properties magically appear on the bottle. I'll also show how the cupboard is configured as a kinematic object in physics. The physics make it so that the can and the bottle do not fall through, but you can place them on the countertop. Now that the bottle also has a VR pickable property, I can pick it up just like with the can. Next, I will add a new robot to the layout and I will set it up so that I can jog the individual joints. Like with the pickable components, I will select the device controller. I'll select the robot that I added and press the Add Jog Info to Target button. That's it. Now the component has jog infos and we can jog it using the controller. Now let's try interacting with this machine. I have already added the jog infos to this machine, so I can manipulate the doors and the jog with either the controller or the frame icon. However, the panel on the side is immobile. Let's see how I can get this panel moving. Moving the panel with Interact tool is not working either. Let's go to the Modeling tab and see what's going on. I'll find the panel node and there's already a jog info behavior called jog_panel. The jog_panel behavior is missing the joint panel variable that I want to modify upon jogging. I cannot select the variable because there is no controller associated with the joint panel. To associate the joint with a controller, I need to disconnect the machine signals. Now I can select the controller for the joint and associate the variable with the jog info to interact with the panel. And now I can interact with the panel. Let's see how I can modify the HMI to my needs. First, let's raise the panel a bit higher like so. Notice that you can see the device controller ghosting my motions. I set the hide during simulation property to false so that I can see the component and better operate the buttons. Now that I select the HMI, you can see that there are tabs for buttons and states. States show which buttons are currently active. Buttons tab lets you modify and create new buttons to the HMI. Each line in the node corresponds to a button in the HMI. I can change the operating mode from trigger to toggle switch and change the shape from square to circle. The changes take effect when I press the generate button. Currently, the number pad only has buttons for numbers from 1 to 9, so I will create a new button for number 0. The first row of the node shows the syntax for creating new buttons. The buttons are located at a reference frame. You can either use a pre-existing frame or create a new one for each of your buttons. Let's test the buttons. The new button is now working in toggle mode, so when I press it the first time it goes on, and when I press it the second time it goes off. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching and I hope you have a wonderful day.